You think you know the rulings of pets in Islam, cats? It is normal and dogs are not permissible. But it is true that the matter is not simple or simple. Even close to Quran, 17 rulings buried in the Sunnah of the Prophet on the authority of animals that you live in your house, some for mercy, some for money. And some of it is about a woman who entered the fire because of one cat. But in the judgment of who, these 7 judgments, there is no story that attracts attention. And with this, it is the ruling that often—
You violate him, now let's walk on these provisions, all of them alone.
One of the beloved and pure cats was the Prophet. May Allah bless him and grant him peace. He loved cats, and was not just tolerant of them, but he really loved them. Even Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, is one of the closest friends. The Prophet, may God's prayers and peace be upon him, was named by this title because of a small cat. He was pulling it in his sleeve and close to the cats. It was nothing passing, but the scholars inferred in it the mercy of the Prophet. May Allah bless him and grant him peace. With weak little creatures that you can't— She defends herself, and for a reason why cats in particular are judged by their purity. Once, the Prophet, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, saw one of the companions reluctant to use. A cat drank from it because he thought it had become unclean. The Prophet, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, corrected him directly and said that it's not bangs, it's from the rafts on you, and the rafts, and drink from your vessels, and there is nothing wrong with this 2 dogs. It is not forbidden, and here many people are wrong. Dogs are not forbidden to own, and this sentence is surprising. Many of those who hear it are forbidden. You buy a dog inside the house just for fun or fun. There is no need either if for guarding, for grazing livestock, for farming, for hunting. So there is Sharia explicitly. The difference, not in the animal itself, the difference in the reason for his acquisition, is the need, and the job is the norm. Not just getting stuck in it. 3 angels who do not enter the house in a conversation that is very surprising. From the people, the first thing they hear, the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, said no. Angels enter a house with a dog, nor a picture narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. And the scholars explained that what is meant is that the house is deprived of the descent of the angels of mercy and blessing, but pay attention to the accuracy of Hadith words, as among scholars such as Ibn al-Asqalani stone. It is the ruling related to the dog who gets inside. The house is not a legitimate need, but the guard dog is outside the house, and the shepherd dog in the pasture has a different ruling. Exactly, the context has an effect, but sometimes the context changes the whole rule. 4 hounds in this. An exception stipulated by the Holy Quran himself. The Almighty said, they ask you what is the solution for them. Say the solution, you are good women, and you did not know of the raptors who are malicious. The dog trained to hunt if he catches the hunt after. What do you remember the name of Allah at the time of a message? Hunting is halal, and not despite the presence of the dog, but because of its training, and because of a male. The name of Allah and halaya opened a full door of rulings for dogs or not. It is forbidden to launch, but it may be a legitimate means if it is used in the thing that Allah has permission for. Training changes verdict. 5. Watering the thirsty dog had a man in it. He walks and thirst intensifies on him. So he found a well, so he went down and drank, then came out, and when he saw a dog panting and licking the dirt from the intensity of thirst, and the dog was about to perish like the man was not a little while ago. So he went back to the well, and went down again and played it. He washed up, then he held him in his mouth so that he came out and watered the dog. So Allah thanked him, this work, and forgave him all his sins. 6 women who entered the fire because of a cat, and this, it is the story that corresponds to the story that completely preceded it, and it is the story who many people remember it if they want to be afraid. Not only do they know, a woman imprisoned a cat and did not water her, or I left her to eat from the insects of the earth, so she entered the fire because of her. She did not enter the fire because she killed the cat directly but locked her up. She died of starvation, and neglect of his condition was a reason for punishment. 7. Torturing animals out of entertainment. Curse the Prophet, peace be upon him. Peace and blessings be upon him. A certain act, and it still exists to this day in forms different, which is that the animal ties it alive and then becomes a target for throwing out a door. Entertainment or training for the Prophet, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, only forbade him. Curse the one who does it. Ask yourself, have you laughed at me? A video clip in which an animal is tormented for entertainment or for entertainment collects views of this question. It is not just a passing question, but it deserves that you stop and meditate on it. 8. Price of selling the dog, and this ruling surprises even. Many observant Muslims have forbidden the Prophet, may Allah bless him, peace be upon you, about selling the dog, and scientists differed in the extent of the general rule. Some of the one who said that it is for dogs who have no need, including the one who said it includes all dogs but they're all, agreeing that the Sunnis stress the issue of earning from selling dogs. 9. Camels are the animal that complained to the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace. The Prophet, may God's prayers and peace be upon him, entered the day of Bustan, and when he saw the camel, he cried. So the Prophet, may God's prayers and peace be upon him, went to him directly and wiped on him. Huda, Then he said, "Who is the sponsor of this camel?" So its owner came. The Prophet, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, said to him, "Do you not fear Allah in it? The beast that belongs to you, Allah." To her, he complained to me that you are roaming him and tired of him, narrated by Abu Dawud. Meditate an animal complaining and a prophet believes it, for fatigue has a voice, even if he's not talking. 10 Hit the animal on the face can show you this thing. A simple detail, but a great ruling saw it, as the Prophet, may Allah's prayers forbade, peace be upon him, about hitting the animal in the face and forbade it as well. About his tag or K in his face. If you need the animal's politeness or orientation, it will not be in its face. Never. Because this is a fixed sanctity. No one kills the animal unjustly. And this judgment many people expect is dangerous, even if the animal was just a bird, said the Prophet. May Allah bless him. Peace be upon him, there is no human being. He kills a bird and the one above it without her right, except that Allah asked him about it on a day. The resurrection hopes, not a lion or a wolf, but a small bird. But if the animal was really hurtful, or it was in his killing a legitimate interest or a real spirit. Among scholars such as Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim, this is permissible if the correct reason is found. Conditions of imprisonment of birds and animals. Birds in cages. And pets locked inside, cages or basins. This is a matter that scientists have talked about a lot. And the hadith on which the ruling is based, not about the cages themselves, but about the principle that he decided. The Prophet, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, said, "May Allah's prayers and peace be upon him. Fear Allah in these beasts that do not pronounce a rose," meaning, in the correct hadiths, if the bird eats and drinks it. And take care of him and him, a suitable space. There is nothing wrong with the public of scholars, but if he was tormented or unable to move or deprived of something, what he needs by nature, this enters into the same neglect that he enters, the woman shot because of the cat. The problem is not in the cage, the problem is the suffering inside it. Do not differentiate between the mother and her young children, a simple situation transmitted by the companions, accurately because it is an impact on the Prophet, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him. Some of the companions were on a journey, so they took chicks of a bird or an egg from its nest. So the mother returned, and when she found her children, she was flying around. The place is in the most turbulent, and when he saw, the Prophet, may God's prayers and peace be upon him, said this scene. Whoever bereaved, this is her son. They returned her son to her, narrated by Abu Dawud Shaf. The sadness of a bird and what it ignores, but rather in order that they return to their young. For him along, were we paying attention to this sadness in the first place? Thirsty, it is not permissible to starve the animal, a punishment for it, and this is, the ruling returns us, for the story of the woman and the cat, who prevented eating from an animal he owns. Whether careless, or with the intention of punishing him for his behavior, he is within the same judgment and has, scholars like the son of his feet, stipulated that I feed the animal below. Caring for a person is a duty, not just charity or favors. It is not permissible to starve a creature because this obeys you. This is not reprimanding. This is cruelty in the name of the second. Love turned into exaggeration, and this judgment is a lot. From people what they expect, Islam is what? Just be careful not to fall short with animals, but also be careful of exaggeration of interest in them if they exceed the legitimate limits, such as man raises the animal above his status, which Allah made for him, or spend it extravagantly, or present it on more important rights, the Almighty said, and eat and drink, or not. They overlooked. He does not like extravagance. Scholars expand this principle, which is the principle of moderation, an intermediate to include the method of exchange and order of priorities, and even the method of our love. What is required is balance, neither deprivation nor exaggeration. Retribution between animals on the day of resurrection before the last ruling in it. The truth of many people can what they know, the Prophet said. May Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, that the rights will be restored to its people on the day of resurrection, until it is led to the chat al-jalha from the chat. The Qur'ans are narrated by a Muslim, meaning that Allah, it cuts even for chats that don't have centuries of chats. The one who butted her with her horns, hopes if justice is even established. Among animals, how can the one who wronged the animals who she was under his care? I will thirst for the judgment that most people disagree with. This is the ruling that we mentioned at the beginning of the speech. A story about fire, nor about angels, nor about fear. But it is a great hadith, said the Prophet. May Allah bless him. Peace be upon him in every moist liver, a reward narrated by al-Bukhari and Muslim. I mean all the kindness you give to any living creature, Allah writes to you on it. A reward for any creature, whether you love it or no, whether it benefits you or not, and whether people see you or they didn't see you. The topic is not about cats and dogs only, but about that stray animal that passed by him, or that bird, the one you violently expelled, or that moment when you measured a creature. What do you think? It has the value of the 16 provisions before I warned you of apparent sins, but this last judgment reveals the hidden sins that can fall in it, and you don't feel the summary of the 17 provisions. Cats are pure and may be mixed, and dogs may be acquiring it for a legitimate need, not just for entertainment. And angels do not enter a house in which a dog is acquired without a need or a picture, and hunting dogs are excluded from the text of the Quran. Watering the animal is a reason for forgiveness of sins and torture. Animal or neglect may be the reason for entering the fire, and torturing animals for amusement cursed doer and gain from selling dogs is one of the issues in which the year has tightened and must animal welfare and non-exhaustion, and is forbidden beating the animal in the face, and it is not permissible to kill any animal without a legitimate reason, and the animal may be imprisoned. If full care is available to him and what is permissible, differentiate between mother and young. And feeding the animal is a duty for those who own it, and what is required is moderation in loving animals and spending on them, and Allah will cut between animals on the day of resurrection and all goodness for a living creature that Allah writes with a reward. Allah Almighty said, "Say, O my servants who have transgressed themselves, do not despair of those who Allah's mercy, Allah forgives all sins. He is the forgiving, the merciful. When the last time you did well for a creature who can't return the favor to you, and when the last time I prevented him from being happy, and you don't know if open your business book today, what judgment from these 17 rulings you will get yourself short in it. Never from today, and don't delay.